Today I'm going to be talking about the results of birth order, and more specifically, does birth order have an effect on personality and individual behavior? The contents of this presentation is I'm going to be talking about relevant background, the goal and purpose of the study, variables and the operational definition of the dependent variable, confounding variables that I would like to consider, practical and ethical concerns, the overall design study of my experiment, and the possible strengths and limitations of the experiment. So, birth order in a family is the number of siblings and the order they were born in. Psychologists have connected birth order to the different behaviors and personality traits that they acquire. I think that this is important for me as an educator, because I'm in the education program, because I can understand personality better and understand my students a little bit better. Many researchers believe that birth order has a high connection to the personality and behavior. The goal of the research would be to identify what personality traits are affected by birth order, and if it is true and if we can rely on this information. This is an important topic to learn about because it will allow individuals to understand where certain personality traits have come from. So previous research while I was looking at this is Frank Soloway. He did research on birth order and was the first psychologist that did his research and experiments on these topics. Soloway studied at Harvard, where he conducted his research in family dynamics. So he studied the 5-factor model, which is the 5 factors that personality is based on, so it's pretty much the 5 categories that personality is divided into. His research found that firstborns are more effective and energetic, while laterborns are more cooperative and modest and straightforward. Laterborns are also more aesthetically inclined and attentive to inner feelings, while firstborns are often more anxious and prone to depression. You can find these results published in his book, Born to Rebel. So for my experiment, the overall survey experimental design is participants in the study is 3 to 4 families. I think keeping it at that number is good because it's not too many. It's cost-effective wise, it's better, and I think that each of these families should have 3 to 4 children. If possible, these families should be from similar economic and social backgrounds to ensure a more accurate idea of their personalities. I only say this because if you have a family from a wealthier background than a family from a not-so-wealthy background, their children are going to go through different experiences, and these experiments will alter their personality in some way. Siblings should be of equal age apart from each other, meaning if there are 3 siblings, they all should be a year apart. The materials for this study are forms that the parents need to sign and fill out. The first form being a parental consent form, secondly, a document that outlines the family's demographic information, and the second material for this experiment will be an electronic or paper questionnaire. This questionnaire will be filled out by the participants and will outline different questions that will outline their personality and will help researchers outline or define what their personality is based on their answers. So the procedure, after the parents of the participants completed their parental consent forms and documents regarding their demographic information, the study can begin. The first part of this study is that each of the children will be put into an isolated, quiet space, this could be their bedroom, to complete the personality questionnaire. Once they are done, they will hand the questionnaires to the researchers. If the biggest age gap between the oldest and youngest child is 6 years, the researchers will come back after 6 years and give the siblings the same questionnaire. This is to ensure that the answers are as time goes on, the growth in personality doesn't change. So if you're asking a 9-year-old question and the 6-year-old the same question, the 9-year-old might have a better, more advanced answer than the 6-year-old. So I think that then coming back after 3 years, that 6-year-old is now going to be 9, and you can compare the 2 answers to see if they're similar. Variables. So the independent variable in this study is the birth order of the participants, and the dependent variable of the study is the different personality traits and types these individuals process. So the operational definition. The operational definition is something is how the researcher defines and the ways that will be quantified or measured for the study. Personally, I feel that personality is a way we react to different situations. I believe that our personality is made up of different experiences we have went through, and in the study, personality will be studied by the participants when they complete a questionnaire. Based on these answers, researchers will be able to measure the personality traits. So the different confounding variables I have is the changes in personality over time. I totally understand that children with different experiences are going to have different kind of personalities because of what they have went through. We need to be able to put this into our study and understand that the answers may not always be accurate. societal stereotypes being pushed on children. So if you have a sibling that is male and a sibling that is female, the male may be more pushed to hold, say, the man of the house traits, while the girl is more of a woman of the house, depending on the family background. I think it's important to understand that because they will obviously pick up on these personality traits. 3 is family dynamics, just how much quality time they spend together, how little quality time they spend together. I think that's really important. Parenting style is also important because children will go through different experiences if their parents are strict or if their parents are more laid back and lenient on the rules. So the situation involving the parents could mean divorced, widowed, same sex, different sex, because those will all weigh in on the personality and behaviors of the children. And cultural background, I only added this because of it kind of goes into societal stereotypes, but cultural stereotypes. If some cultures believe that the male should be the more dominant and that's how they're going to raise their son, while in a more Catholic or Christian or atheist home, it may be more equal. So I think it's important to consider that as well. A practical concern I have is researchers are reliant on families allowing them to study their children for multiple phases. And I think this is just a privacy thing, which is why it's a practical concern, as well as relying on the families to disclose personal information. And an ethical concern is many children coming from homes with multiple siblings have self-esteem issues regarding their siblings. Parents often compare their children to one another when it doesn't perform athletically or academically the same. Giving them results of the study may be less than equal to their siblings. So I think that the experimenters should tell the parents not to share the results with them, just because they may end up comparing themselves if they score lower than their older sibling or younger sibling even. So some strengths and weaknesses of this experiment is after researching this topic and previous research done, I noticed that not all experiments including the later questionnaire. I included it into mine because older siblings are obviously going to score higher on some aspects of the questionnaire, and this is because of the experiences they have endured. And a possible weakness of this experiment is limiting the experiment to certain demographics. In order to add more demographics, it may make the experiment more inaccurate because of the different experiences that the child may have went through. Thanks for watching.